Welcome, everybody, to the Hounds podcast. I am going to be one more week riding solo, guys. I am so sorry. We were looking pretty good. Had a guest lined up to record with today, and we had some conflict issues on scheduling, and I think so that'll be kind of exciting. I think it's going to be probably the first solo female guest on this show. Whenever we do get lined up and get it correct. But she had some traffic issues on the way home, and the time just was kind of starting to fall a little bit short on being able to make this happen. So, y'all excuse me. This one is very much going to be an on-the-fly episode. So y'all do forgive me for that. We had somebody lined up. It's going to be a great episode when it does come out. I do promise y'all that. I'm super, super excited for that one. And I've got some... And I know I keep saying it, but I do have some other ones right on the hook. We just trying to get this scheduling down. I'm sure most of y'all seen I fired up my side business, the HT pressure washing, and yes, that does mean Hounds Tails. It was a simple way for me to keep my same LLC and keep rocking with that. But you know, we got that fired up and taken off pretty decently. So you know, that's keeping me a little bit more busy than what I already was. And then, you know, just life in general. Little man's playing t-ball. So between that, running dogs, and just trying to get through life as it is, getting ready for this baby to get here in a couple months, we are rocking and rolling as hard as we can. But so I'm going to modify this just a touch here. I want to go ahead. I haven't done this yet. I want to give a big shout out to all the sponsors at one time. I'm not going to interrupt this episode later with commercials because it's not going to be a super long episode. So what I want to do is I want to give a huge shout out to all the partners and sponsors that we have for this year. And we're going to start off with Outdoor Dog Supply. They have been a great partner since day one. Super, super happy to have them on board. Anytime that I got to get need Garmin products repaired, they are my one-stop shop. I go right to them, no questions asked. Plus, Billy and Emmy are leaders in the fight, especially here in Virginia, on keeping our hunting rights, keeping our dog hunting rights. And this is one of the main reasons why I'm super excited to partner with them. Then, of course, we got Cajun Lights. Cajun... and LW and Nick, they came on board last year, and if I'm not mistaken, and all my time runs together, so forgive me, but they came in last year. I mean, just full force, and man, it's hard to go to a hunt and not see a Cajun light on somebody, at least one or two people's heads, especially up here in Virginia where we do a lot of nighttime hunts and having to run at night. So it's really neat that was such a fun adventure, and they trusted me, and I gave, you know, and they, I mean, it just, to me, it kind of, I felt the impact, and I felt y'all accepting these guys and bringing them in. So thank y'all for that. You know, they are planning on giving back more and more and more to the sport. So, you know, just bear with them. LW has gone full-time into the business now. It was actually just a side business for a long time, and he's gone full-time. So give him a little forgiveness. But if you do purchase something on CajunLights.com, after checkout, go on their website, and you will get 5% on your next order when you select Hounds Tales Podcast. Let them know you were listening to me when you heard about them. CajunLights.com. Next up, we got Elite Nutrition. Elite Nutrition has been an awesome products. They got a great 10% discount with HT Elite 10 discount code. That's Hounds Tails 10 Elite 10, so HT Elite 10. And you get 10% off of your Elite Nutrition products, but it's only on CajunLights.com, guys. No other website. Yes, there are a lot of other places you can find it, but if you want the 10% off from us, you got to go on Cajun Lights. I've been using their products for going on 2 years now, and I have not looked back, guys. Not looked back. Give it a try. Give it a chance. I know there's a lot of other supplements out there that are great products, but these are all natural products. that, man, it just keeps these dogs moving and bouncing back, hydrated. I showed it off at the Masters a couple weeks ago, and yeah, it wasn't 100 degrees or nothing like that, but it was warm. It was hot. After each day of running, I could take the skin on the back of the backs and pop it to check for, dehydration, and every single day I could just pop right back, and that was all because of Elite Nutrition. So big shout out to those guys. Then, of course, one of our newest ones was Dogtight, dogtight.com. Mr. Carson Robertson with Dogtight. Obviously, made himself a staple in dog hunting music with Dogtight and Dogs Gotta Hunt and those kind of songs. And then got his clothing line going with the Dogtight hoodies and shirts and hats. I see a lot of them at the field trials still and out there hunting. So we are still offering that 15% discount. When you use Hounds Tales 15, that's Hounds Tales, then the number 15 after your purchase, or at checkout on dogtight.com for any of your Dogtight apparel. Speaking of apparel, if you are looking to add to your collection of your own kennel, maybe you want some Hounds Tales swag as well, be sure to check out load10outfitters.com. We have the lineup of hats and shirts for the Hounds Tales podcast apparel. Sure would appreciate it if y'all guys go on there and get you some. Would like to see some more shirts and hats floating around out there. They're really good looking. Been kind of contemplating them coming up with maybe some other designs and maybe trying to branch out with that kind of stuff. But we'll see how that goes. But visit low10outfitters.com and check all that stuff out and get your own kennel apparel. All right. There's my rundown of all of the amazing partners that we have. So I forgot to do it last week. I'm not going to forget it this time. We're going to do our motivational quote first, and that is, success is not just about reaching the top, but about enjoying the climb. I thought that one was amazing. Everybody that I know is always trying to strive to do better. All my friends, anybody that I like to associate with is always trying to do better and succeed. And it's hard. Sometimes it's so easy to get wrapped up and looking so far to the future, you forget to enjoy your journey to there and your journey to success. Enjoy it the whole way, guys. And then, of course, our Bible verse of the week is going to be from John 8:12. Again, Jesus spoke to them, saying, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. Again, I think those two just went right hand in hand. Again, I'm not the picture-perfect Christian and follower of Christ that I need to be, that I strive to be, but it's those kind of quotes and those kind of verses that hit you and make you really want to do better. And, maybe that'll do the same for you. All right, so one more thing before we really get into the meat and potatoes of this episode. I want to talk about the Virginia Classic we got coming up, guys. I think there are still a very few numbers left, if I am not mistaken. If we are not full, we are very, very, very close to being full. So if you want in on this, be sure to get up with either Peyton Lucy or Ryan Carden. They have the book, they have the numbers, all that kind of good stuff. So still plenty of jacket numbers available if you want run jackets. It is the Masters Masters Hunt. It is a Masters Hunt 2-day Derby, excuse me. And it will be, the one-day option will be available. And something that I haven't fully checked in on, but it may not be a bad idea to make sure this is done before you come to the hunt. If you want your dog to be registered as a Derby champion, and I very well could be wrong on this, and I hope I'm not. Well, I hope I am. I'm not exactly a fan of this rule. If it is the case, make sure your dogs are registered to the horn before you come. If you can get them registered to the horn before, they will recognize it as a Derby champion. It's my understanding, and I hope I'm not putting false information out there. And I probably should have checked on this, but either way, it does not hurt to be safe than sorry. Rather safe than sorry. Get your dogs registered to make sure that you are able to register it as a Derby champion if you win this hunt. If that's important to you. If not, then whatever. Hey, to each his own kind of deal. But for those that have already got their money sent in, and we will be doing the auction. Let me see. That will be coming up. It will be, all right, auction will start on May 18th. And that will go from the 18th, which I believe is not next Monday coming up, but the following Monday. And it will go all the way till that Friday, which is May 22nd at 8 p.m. And that's when we'll do the auction for the auction numbers. That's 0 to 19, 21, 31, 41, 51, 61, 71, 81, and 91. After that is over, we're going to do just like we did last year. There won't be as many on the draw, but we're going to do a random draw again the following Wednesday. That will be on the 27th at 7 p.m. It will be on the Hounds Tales Podcast Facebook page. Both the auction and the number draw will both be on the Hounds Tales Podcast page. So keep your eyes open for that. Be ready. And, hey, let's see. The more money that goes towards this auction numbers, the more we give back. Y'all already know how me and Peyton and Ryan and we're going to be. Everybody involved with this program, we give back everything. There's no keeping it. There's no rolling it over to the next year. There's none of that. It is, we're going to get after it. We're going to give you back to the hunters and make sure y'all are taken care of at this hunt. So keep that in mind. We're always down to do a great hunt. We got a pile of judges lined up. And we're super, super excited for this hunt. Super excited. The pen's running great. We'll be cast. We don't know what cast time is going to look like yet. We haven't decided on cast, but I can pretty much guarantee you it's going to have some in the dark. We're going to make sure it runs for most of the time, if not all the time. And the pen, you know how it is, getting into June and into August, so in June and July, the pen starts running and running and running and running. Be ready. It's going to be a barn burner. We're going to be getting after it. Super excited, guys. All right. Now, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this episode. I want to call this one Opinions Fade. So, one of the biggest things that I've noticed between Facebook, ever since I got into this sport, between Facebook and going to hunts, going out hunting, deer dog hunting, whatever the case may be, there's opinions that float around everywhere. That's one thing this world, I think, is overran with right now is opinions. And here I am with a podcast that has a lot of opinions about it. So it's hard for me to talk and bash that. But I think there's something that has to be done as a person, and something that took me a while to understand. And I think this goes for not only dog hunting, but in the world in general, is you got to find the difference between opinions that are worth something, opinions that ain't worth something, and then cold, hard facts. Opinions can vary on everything in this sport, guys. Everything. I'm talking opinions on dog food. We'll start there. Let's just start right at it. Opinions on dog food. There's different brands, there's amounts, regiments. I know some guys promote and talk about, hey, I feed twice a day. I get up in the morning, I go feed half of a normal portion. I feed half of the other half later in the evening. If you got the time to do it, sure. If that's what works for you, go for it, man. I don't have that time. As much as I would love to, that time does not exist for me. So it's a one a day for me. Amounts. And I think the amounts also depends on your brand. Whether you're feeding Pride, Value Pack, Joy, Victor, whatever the case may be, Showtime, it don't matter. All great feeds. Heck, all the way down, I say down, but, if we're talking about budgets, all the way down to Sexton Brothers. My deer dogs get Sexton Brothers. I've been feeding, ever since I was knee-high to a duck, we've been feeding Sexton Brothers to our deer dogs. It has never let us down. It has been a great, great feed for our deer dogs. And I know they're big supporters of the sport as well. Then you have, Pride and Value Pack. I always say promote and purchase the feeds that are supporting your sport. And nobody gives back more to this sport than Pride and Value Pack. Now, there's other ones that are definitely in there in the mix, and I'm not taking away from those guys at all. But you want to talk about two brands that just knock it out of the park as far as support of our sport, and that's Pride and Value Pack. They're just ready, on the ready at all times, guys. And we cannot thank them enough. A lot of these hunts wouldn't be anywhere as good without the deals that they cut us for these field trials and these prizes. So just kind of keep that in mind. But one thing I've learned about the dog food situation, and I don't have any reason, I don't have any explanation why. I don't have any, this is why this is working for this person and this is why this isn't working for this person. I've been beaten by dogs that are on Pride. I've been beaten by dogs that are on Joy. I've been beaten by dogs that are on store brand, whatever the case may be. Maybe not store brand. Store brand's probably a fetch. But between Pride, Value Pack, Showtime, there's all kinds of brands. People are successful with all kinds of different kinds of brands. You got to find out what suits you and suits your dogs for the running that you're promoting in them. If you're doing just deer dogs and you run once or twice a month, you get them out for a couple hours, even if it's 2 or 3 times a month, whatever the case may be, maybe all you need is some blue bag of Sexton Brothers, and then switch over to the white bag during hunting season. Maybe you're a once a week or get into the fox pens when you can kind of person, and you need, for example, Value Pack, or maybe you run multiple times in a week and you need something like Victor. Whatever the case may be, and that's not ranking foods or nothing like that. That's not what I'm doing there. That's pretty much just giving you an example. There are different styles of dog feed that work better, and I don't know into each individual person. Does it make any sense? Not in the slightest bit. Not in the slightest bit. I've seen dogs that are muscled up and cut up, going home and they're eating, Orange Pride. And then, somebody else will try Orange Pride. Maybe it doesn't work great. Find out what works best for you. Test it. Give it a true test, too. 2 weeks on a certain food is not a true test, guys. A true test is a month or two. Give it multiple weeks to try this stuff and let it get in their system and let it build their system. I think that's probably the most, and it's bound to happen at least once a month on one of the Facebook page. Somebody's going to get in there and say, what brand of dog food are y'all feeding? And it's going to be the most commented Facebook post on that page of the month. And it'll have 120, 300 comments, and it'll be 15, 16 different dog brands and telling you why it works better than the others. Test them out. Feed what you like best. Just do that. That's my word of advice. Feed what you like. Another thing that I hear a lot of opinions on is prepping for a hunt. A lot of people may not even tell you what they're doing. Some of these guys that are whooping your butt every week may not allow you to hear that secret of their training program, whether it be run for 3 times a week for 2 hours and pick them up and call it a day. Or maybe you're running for once a week and you're running for 8 hours in that night. Or maybe you're running once a week and getting some in on the weekends when you can, and you're running 6 hours one time and 3 hours the next, and 5 the next, and 4 the next, and 6, and 4, then 6, and 3, then 5, whatever, I think that when you talk about how you run your dogs, and this is my opinion, okay? This is my opinion. I think when you're getting to the point where you're talking about how you train and how you exercise your dogs, you've got to figure out what works best for you. And I'm going to kind of strictly talk about field trialing here. You know, if you're a one-day hunter, you don't have to run multiple times a week. You don't have to. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's why my one-day field trial record is not the greatest in the world. You know, maybe that's why I was getting beat. Maybe my dogs just suck. I don't know. But at that point, you know, if you're only running one-day hunts, it doesn't make sense to me to run multiple times a week. But maybe you want to. Maybe that's what you want to do. Whatever works for you. Maybe you're a 3-day guy and you need to run those long hours and then run short and then run long. Or maybe you think you need to run nothing but longs. Figure out what works best for you as yourself. But most importantly, you got to figure out what works for the dogs. If you're trying it one way, maybe you're going to a one-day hunt and you're running for 3 hours, you know, twice a week. And you go to a 4 or 5 hour hunt and you're watching your dogs on the outside. And, you know, the first 2 hours they're out there just jerking. I mean, just absolutely putting the sauce on them. Then the third hour comes in. You start seeing them kind of, that gap starting to slow up a little bit. And you're starting to get some second place, third place crossings. Then at fourth hour, you're dragging the back of the field. Maybe it's time to wake up and say, okay, I'm doing something wrong. They're not conditioned to run for these long hours. You know, let the dogs tell you. The dogs are going to tell you. You know, something else, another opinion that I see a lot of is types of supplements. Whether you like elite nutrition, whether you want to use elite products or not, that is your choice. A lot of people are like, I notice, and I don't think people do it purposefully, but I do feel like it kind of gets like, I think the people will think I'll get mad or get judgmental. I don't care what kind of supplements you use. If you want to use Elite Nutrition, please do. I support them 110%. I believe in their products. If you don't, and you want to use some of this other stuff, what is it? Vertex. You know, there's Vertex out there. The Go Dog powder is still out there. There's other supplements that are out there that are great products. Great products. I prefer Elite Nutrition products. That's my opinion. That's what I see works best for my dogs. Maybe you try it and it doesn't work worth a crap for your dogs. Maybe. I don't know. You know, whatever the case may be. Excuse me. Use whatever works for your dogs the best. Another one that I see a lot of is, excuse me, good gosh, people, is the resting time. Resting time before a hunt. Good gosh, man. I hope y'all ain't watching it on video. I gotta get back in shape. This is bad. Anyway, sorry. Resting time before a hunt. Some people say, hey, rest them 3 days before a hunt. They're going to go into the hunt tuned up, ready to go, and you're going to get everything you can out of them. Some people say go a week. Some people say 8 to 10 days. Some people say 2 weeks. Again, there's a lot of opinions on that, but one thing I've noticed about a lot of these opinions, as far as everything that we've spoke about so far, is that these people that are giving you your opinions don't know your dogs. They don't know your life. They don't know your schedule. They don't know how your running program is, where your running program is at. And I think that all of that plays too much of a role to wholeheartedly dive into believing that someone's opinion is going to be perfect for you in your situation. I think it's a good idea to listen to a lot of these opinions, because you're going to learn. I'm not saying that once you get your dogs into a spot where you think you're exactly right, that you got to stop listening to opinions. Opinions are perfect, guys. Opinions are great. Is every opinion right? No. Is every opinion welcome? It should be. Because you might just hear something or learn something that's going to give you that extra bump that you need. Maybe you're going to the field trials and you're finishing 13th, 14th, and you hear something of saying, hey, I'm running X amount of time and this is working for me. Then you change it, and the next thing you know, you're placing 8th and 7th and 6th. That little bit of something that you almost refused to listen to just gave you that extra little bit of kick right there to get you right. For example, I'll never, ever forget it. We were running, it's when I was first getting into the sport, and I was running in a fox pen one night. And I, for the life of me, cannot remember who it was. I know it was an older gentleman. We were running, all cast at the same time, and he went back and sat up on the hill and was listening, watching, and catching crossings. And I rolled up on him and sat there and was talking to him for a little while. We were getting close to about the 4-hour mark. And he said, well, if y'all excuse me, I'm going to go pick up my dogs. He said, what time are y'all going to pick up? I said, well, we're going to run till daylight. So we had casted it, 10 o'clock the night before, maybe 11 o'clock the night before, or the night of, excuse me. So we were going to run for about 7 or 8 hours. It was going to be a nice long pull on the dogs. He said, if you don't mind, son, let me ask you this. Why are you running that long? I said, I don't know. That's just the way I've always done it. And, it's just what I enjoy doing. I don't get a whole awful lot of pleasure running time at that time. He said, I tell you what. He said, I'll make you a deal. He said, take your dog, and the next 2 times, make sure that you reset your GPS and track that dog with a long range the entire time that you're running, okay? And then track his speed. Nothing else but his speed. Do it for the next 2 or 3 times and write down the speeds each time. He said, then for the next month, after you do it those 2 or 3 times, he said, come back and run your dog for a hunt length. So 4 hours, 5 hours, whatever you're competing in. He said, run it for that long. He said, and then get up with me, or next time you see me, let me know if that dog picked up speed any. I kind of was like, whatever, At first, I agreed, and I was like, well, just out of pure curiosity, I'm going to try it. So first 2 weeks after that, I tracked the dog, and I think we were, and please don't listen to these speeds and think, oh my God, yeah, every GPS is different. I've tracked the same dogs, same collars on 2 different GPSs, and they've been 3 mile an hour off. So this is just a baseline on your GPS. I will never agree that a GPS tracks speed correctly, but it gives you an idea of who's faster or if your speed has slowed or decreased. So I'm tracking my dog, and he's averaging for the whole night somewhere around the 9 miles an hour. Somewhere around there for the whole, for the 8 hours. That was his average speed at the end of the night. And he also told me, he said, write it down at the 5-hour mark, or whatever you decide you're going to cut off at later, write it down at that time too. So I remember it was like 10 and a half, somewhere between 10 and a half, 11 average at the 4 or 5 hour mark. At the 5 hour mark is what I did. And then at the end of the night, it was somewhere around that 9 and a half for 2 weeks. Then I went a full month of slowing it back, or dropping it back to 5 hours. On the 4th night, we picked up in both, we picked up at that 5 hour mark almost 2 miles an hour. what I learned was that dog was pacing himself to run all night. He was pacing himself and saying, all right, I've got to step back. I've got to slow down so that I still have gas in the tank at the 8-hour mark. After the fourth run of cutting him off at 5, he learned that he could give more energy by the end of that 5 to only have to go the 5 hours. So he was going faster. Is that an 110% accurate thing? Is that a 110% accurate test? No, there's no way you can test that. I mean, with 100% accuracy, you don't know weather conditions. You don't know the temperatures. You don't know if the dog was just feeling better, if he was just getting into more shape, whatever the case may be. Whatever that case may be, he sure enough picked up another mile and a half more per hour versus when he was running all night. And ever since that moment, that's what I've stuck with. I've stuck with running a little past cutoff length, a little past the 5 hour, that 5.5, 6 hours. That's what I like to do. I think it teaches them how to pace. But I kind of rabbit trailed a little bit there, but everybody has their resting time. You got to figure out what works best for your dog. And that's what one of the biggest things I was going to tell y'all was, listen to some of these things. Well, listen to everything, follow some of it. Okay? People will have opinions on even the type of dogs. Do you want the fast heads up style dogs, or do you want the nose down, more tracky, maybe just a touch slower kind of dog? To me, I think you have to figure out if you enjoy what you enjoy watching, what you enjoy doing. Yes, I think everybody that runs a dog loves seeing their dog in first place. I love seeing my dog in first place. I like seeing the dog in a group of 6, 7, 8, 9, 15, 30. And that when I got 601, and that dog comes out, and I say, ride. 601 comes out lead. Yep, that's me. That gets my motor going just as much as anything in this world. But I also like watching a dog that when he comes out fourth and that fox or that coyote cut up the road, he doesn't blow past the track. And if he does, he fixes it real quick. I like watching that dog that when he comes out and that coyote took a hard right, he's finding that hard right and he sticks with that hard right. That's what I like watching. That right there, and say, yep, my dog's better than yours. Yeah, you might have a little bit more speed on me right now, but mine held the track and kept the chase alive. You're welcome. Do what you enjoy the most. Do what you enjoy the most. It comes down to, can the dog bench, the color of the dog. You know me, I'm a white dog guy. I love a white dog. That's just me. Some people hate white dogs. I hate a red dog. If I got a red dog in my lot, that better be a sharp-looking joker or the fastest dog you've ever seen in your life. Because I hate it. I hate a red dog. But that's what I mean. There's opinions about everything. Figure out what you enjoy, what you like, and how you want to run. That will make you the happiest in this sport. Let everybody else's opinions fade out. Let them figure out what the heck they're going to do, and do you. What's that phrase? Do you, boo? Have fun with it. Enjoy it. One last thing before I end this, guys. One of the biggest things I look at when I'm listening to people, when I'm talking with people amongst it, and this is not something that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not listening to him, or I'm like, oh, I'm only going to do this because it's this person, whatever. Or I'm not listening to you. I'm never going to say that, but I'm also not going to be arrogant either. What I look for when I am given advice, not giving, but given, somebody's giving me advice. First thing I want to know, how many times have I gone to the fox pen and you whooped my butt? if I go to the fox pen and every time I go, I hear your name and your kennel getting called out, I'm going to be more prone to listening to your advice. And this is not always the case. This is not always the right thing and the right mentality. But if somebody has a rich history in this sport, they've been doing this for decades and decades and decades. They've been getting their names called for years and years and years and years, or they used to get their names called for years and years and years. I'm going to be more prone to listen to that person for their advice versus Joe Blow that just got into it and is trying to tell me that this dog food's better than this dog food because that's what Pappy Joe fed back in 1963. You know what I mean? Just my opinion, guys. Just my opinion. Again, opinions fade. So, I hope y'all have enjoyed this. This, like I said, this is going to be kind of a short one. I do apologize, but we're trying to get a date set for early next week to get the podcast out and ready so y'all will be able to enjoy it. So, hopefully we can make this work and get it lined up without any hiccups next time. Again, like I said, she will be on the podcast ASAP. I've also got a recent inductee into the Hall of Fame that should be coming on here pretty soon as well. Lots of great stuff, guys. So thank y'all so much for bearing with me. I hope y'all have enjoyed it. Go check out all the partners. Get you some Hounds Tail swag, and hope to see y'all at the next hunt. All right, everybody. Happy hunting.